Okay. Um, I'm Allie Gableman. I am a money coach, so I help people with their budgeting and learning about and practicing intentional spending habits. I also work with them on debt payoff plans and investing education and reaching their savings goals too. So, for example, I have a lot of clients who want to buy a house. So I'll work with them on building a financial plan to make sure they invest like they should, debt, pay off debt like they should, if that's applicable, and reach their savings goals. So, yeah, I've been doing that for about 2 years, and before that, I was an accountant. I'm a CPA, so that's my 10 years of experience before I started doing this.
Very
Nice.
cool.
Mhm.
My name is Braden Boyko. I'm a Bachelor of Commerce student in my undergrad. I'm majoring in finance, and I've created an investment research firm with a team of four. So base our analysis on kind of undercovered areas of the market and do quantitative analysis, pretty advanced stuff that I would say the average person can't do, but we put it in easy to read report form, provide our data and our models so anyone can change it and, you know, um, kind of analyze it on their own. So that's our platform, and there's a team of four of us working on that.
Cool.
Nice. So yeah, I know you're still building out Boyco, but what what is more of your end goal? Do you want to be a kind of like brokerage or just information source?
I think the end would be to open a fund. I think that's probably the end goal. But there's a lot of money to be had in um, investment research, whether that's sell side research or buy side research. So if we just went on to become a full time, fully integrated research firm on the or the buy side, then I'd be totally fine with that too.
Awesome. Now, would y'all, I know individually it's more research on macro and micro and then some companies, but are you exclusive to a certain form of research or not so much?
No, so I would say each person of our four-person team has a very different style I really like. So myself, I'm really big into the quantitative statistical side, like giving people exact odds of like every sort of idea of something happening in the market and then modeling that. Whereas we have some people who are heavily focused on, finding undervalued companies, whether that's through just balance sheet analysis, or if that's like discounted cash flow or the leverage buyout modeling. But we provide all of that so people can see what we're doing and kind of tweak it if they don't believe that we're accurate on that. But yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Are you going to do your introduction, Jonathan?
Yeah, I'm Jonathan Judice. I'm just your average investor. My two jobs I do are I work at a restaurant and I do property management, and then I do some investing on the side.
I think you're more advanced than the average investor. I've talked to you enough to know that. You're downplaying yourself a little bit there, but
Probably so. That's good. I mean, my overall goal is just to show your average good Joe can start investing.
Mhm, mhm.
I think that's in your realm, Allie. It's just trying to get people started
Yeah,
seems to
definitely.
be the biggest issue.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, my approach is definitely getting people started, making it more approachable, less scary. Yeah, yeah. So when Boyko, am I saying it right? I want to make sure for the rest of the life I don't
Yep.
mispronounce it. Okay. Um, Yeah, so Boyko, I actually teach people. We might have a good discussion here about our different investing ideologies. Is probably a strong word, but strategies. Um, because I exclusively teach index fund investing. And in fact, a lot of people who come to me are really intimidated by investing in general, and they want a very hands off approach. So a lot of times I'm informing people about target date index funds because they're looking for like a set it and forget it type thing. Um, so yeah, I'd be interested in talking with you about um, I think you said you do some market analysis of like all of the different likelihoods, all of the different probabilities. So I'd be interested in what you found, like an actively managed portfolio versus something more passive like an index fund, and how the performance might compare over like a short period of time versus multiple decades. And if you
Yeah,
do
for
not have
sure.
that ready and handy to talk about, that's fine. I just, when you were doing your introduction, thought about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't have exact values, but I've definitely looked all into that. I would first of all never tell anyone not to go the index route. Like if it's just, a beginner investor, I mean, I've set up, friends and family and whatnot with that, and I've always, ETFs index route is the way to go because, like you said, hands off, and not no complexities there. And then for the active versus passive management, I think we actually took a course in university kind of explaining the difference here. And an actively managed portfolio will always um, beat out in the terms of return over the long term if it's done right. And it's done wrong like 95% of the time.
I was going to say, I don't
So
know if the statistics are on your side there, but
no, and they're most definitely not. However, the you look at some of the largest hedge funds in the world and certain funds that are actively managed, and they outperform the S&P and all other global market indexes by, 30% every single year. And but they cost a lot of money to be a part of. Like it's a very
yeah.
exclusive club of people who can invest in them. So for the average person, no, there's no actively traded fund that's going to outperform the market consistently year over year. However, for the very wealthy, there's 100% firms out there who will do that.
I mean, but even for the very wealthy, which is certainly not my target audience, but even for them, the fees to participate in an actively managed mutual fund, I mean, I just don't like, I just can't get past that. Like on a percentage basis, they're a lot. Like you can
Yeah.
get charged close to 2% of assets under management for exclusive wealthy only actively managed portfolio. And even if you have, and I just feel like that just makes it so hard to actually beat out a more passively managed fund because your returns have to be consistently at least 2% higher than the passively managed fund. And you said 30%, and that sounds great, but I've never seen anything showing that. Um, yeah, and I used to work at Pacific Life Insurance for 6 years. I worked there, and their clientele is like exclusively wealthy people. They manage a couple like school district 401k 403b plans and stuff like that, but aside from that, like their main clientele is this really high net worth individual. um and so I just saw a lot of that, and people still bought their products. I mean, they're a Fortune 300 company, but the fees are just outrageous in exchange for some of their stuff.
I think also where you might vary in what's it called, data you won't be able to find. I just know from personal experience, wealth managers charge obviously higher fees, 1-2%, but they aren't mutual funds. And every single high income wealth manager that I've ever met, who's good at their job and they charge 2% more, they're their clients are making a heck of a lot more money in it consistently every single year, and they're much more properly hedged than any mutual fund is. So I think it does come down to who you have. I would say, like you said, most people are never going to be able to pull this off, but there's a reason Berkshire Hathaway's outperformed the market for 60 years. Like it's run by an insanely good investor, and I think you have to be also attentive to the total return of your investment, not just the year over year, because obviously certain years you might not beat the market. The idea would be to beat the market every single year. And I mean, I haven't been investing for long enough to, I think, provide a accurate sample, but it's like I've never not beat the market in years of investing. I mean,
Yeah,
again,
but I
that's like,
mean, how long
it's like
have you been
5
investing? Like,
yeah,
sorry,
like
didn't
5
cut
years.
you off.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
no,
been
so
great
it's like,
the past 5 years. I mean,
yeah, wow,
2022 was rough, but we've already
last, like,
recovered.
the last 2 years, but even, yeah, no, exactly. Fair enough. We haven't
No, I
seen
mean,
a 2008
I'll say
scenario
too.
or,
Mhm. And neither
Yeah,
have I.
I'll
I'm
say
not old
too.
enough for 2008 either.
Yeah, I think it's hard the time frame that you have for beating the market. So I've done it a couple of years, but to do it overall consistently on a time span of like 20 to 50 years is mathematically, I'll just say, not in your favor.
yeah,
But my approach is more of you can do a bit of both. So I will rely on my research, probably the same that you do, Boyko, but I also have the S&P 500, and I have the total market indexes, so that if things I do work, that's good, but then I also have the market to fall back on.
yeah.
And
So
you
you're
I
own
think,
average.
Berkshire Hathaway, like in that example, that, if they're like your gold standard, you own them through index funds. Obviously, a small fraction of them, but
yeah, I mean, I do the exact same thing as you, John. I think it also comes down to portfolio optimization, and I don't know if anybody in here has done anything with that, but John, I wrote that little report for you on your portfolio that time.
Yeah.
And, that's a huge part of it too. It's like, if you can just properly optimize so that, most of your risk is associated in the market, but then you have little parts of your risk associated in, either small investments or alternative assets or that kind of stuff, then you can definitely, reduce a lot of the risk of holding those other assets and mostly just take on market risk. So it's, that's another important part of it.
Yeah, no, so I see we have a new guest join us. You want
Hi.
to introduce yourself?
Hi, sorry. The last time we did this, I was live already, and then you invited me in, and then it worked, and then I didn't realize that I had to be on your live in order to figure this out this time. So sorry about that. Hi guys,
No,
I'm
you're good.
Kayla. I am from Canada, so I give the Canadian perspective. I'm a certified financial planner as well. I've been in the industry. I'm celebrating actually my 7th year licensed on Tuesday, but I've been in the industry 10 years or so. And yeah, I have a finance degree. I love it. That's my favorite thing to talk about. So thanks for having me here. And I look forward to meeting both of you as well. Ali and Boyko, is that right? Boyko? That's a cool name too. So thanks for having me, guys. Well, it's morning where I am. I don't know what time it is there.
it is. We are in the same time zone.
Oh, we
I'm in
are?
Southern California, and he's
awesome.
in Western Canada too, I think he
Okay,
said.
awesome. So this is an early rise for all of us. Excellent work.
Yeah, I think I'm probably the only one that's off. It's about 10:30 here where I am.
8:23 for us.
Oh, see, I'm 9:23, so
Oh,
I'm
you're not.
Mountain
Oh, you're a
Standard
little
Time.
bit.
So
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
nice. Okay.
yeah,
You get a little bit of a break then. And
yeah.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
golfing today, so don't mind my attire. I don't normally like wear a collared shirt for these things, but I'm golfing right after this, so.
That is a big benefit of it being so early. Is it doesn't take up our day. Actually, it's nice.
Very
It's like
true.
get up early, drink my coffee. I got to go to my kids' swim lessons in like an hour and a half. So
That sounds fun.
yeah. So
No,
I
I don't
think
know. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
that's a great, like, to make people realize that we're just everyday people. Like, you have swimming lessons after, you have golf after. I don't have my job today, but it's, this isn't my whole life, and I don't think the main approach people get from investors is that's all they do 24/7 is stare at a screen. It's most of us have daily lives.
Mhm.
That's very true. I mean, I'm like, yeah, I definitely am a regular person.
Yeah.
I definitely don't do this, very much. So this is very rare for me. I'm never on live. Actually, I only do this for Jonathan, really.
Same.
Appreciate
I
that.
actually have it on my like goals. Like I need to start doing it more solo. But
Yeah.
Jonathan gets me live. Yeah, it's true.
Works out for us.
Yeah.
So what do you
so
guys feel about the? Oh, sorry, Allie, cut you off. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, I wonder if we should do a brief introduction again and I'm sorry, your first name's not there, so
My
I
name's
missed
Kayla.
it.
Sorry.
Kayla.
Yeah,
Okay.
my name's Kayla. Yeah.
Yeah, Jonathan, we are repeating ourselves a bit, but it was like 10 minutes ago or more now. Should we do a little introduction again so we're all on the same
That's
page?
fine.
Okay. I'll go first since I'm already talking. So as my little title says, I'm a money coach. So I work with people to learn like intentional spending habits, and we build a budget or spending plan together, work on debt payoff goals, savings goals. Like a lot of my clients want to buy a house one day. And I do some investing education. Obviously, I do not have the correct license to actually like manage portfolios for people or do anything that's advice, but I just teach them about like what is an index fund, what is a 401k. Sorry, that's an American term. I'm not sure the Canadian
It's
version.
all good. Yeah.
Yeah, but what is an IRA? So I'm like super beginner when it comes to investing with education with my clients, but a lot of them, that's kind of all they're looking for, my audience. Like they just want to know, like, how much should I be contributing? Like, can I provide tools like the savings goal calculator that can help guide them to estimate, are they investing enough to retire at the age they want and stuff like that. So I typically work with people in their 30s that are decades away from retirement. So we're really I'm getting them on the path. That's my spiel.
Sweet.
Oh, and I'm a CPA,
My name's
but I
Braden.
left that practice to do this.
So my name's Braden. I'm a Bachelor of Commerce student, majoring in finance. And I recently created, well, not that recently, about a year and a half ago, I created a web-based platform for investment research for clients. And we have a team of 4 of us working on that now. And we take a very quantitative approach to things, providing probabilities and exact odds of certain things happening in the market. And then we focus primarily on undercovered markets in the equities, commodities, and credit markets. So each writer, or I can't call them an analyst, we're not analysts yet, but each researcher kind of takes a different approach to it. And then we've kind of built a team around that. So, yeah.
Cool. I didn't say what I do, but I did say I'm a CFP. I'm a wealth planner, so you have to have a minimum to invest with me, which is why I don't take clients from TikTok or anything like that. I deal with kind of like the high net worth space for estate planning and retirement income tax planning. So that's kind of like my niche. So actually my clientele is definitely typically not 30, because I don't see a lot of that, although I would love that. My clientele is usually like, I think the average age of my clients like 70 probably. Yeah, like 55 is my favorite. 55 to like 65 is my favorite. But my side is more like the planning side of things, I guess.
Yeah.
And the estate planning side things would, I guess, would still be kind of relevant, although you guys have different taxation practices. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Mm, Cool. Yeah, my goal is to get my clients on the path to eventually, be wealthy and maybe seek someone out like you.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the earlier that you, like, if you can get people, the earlier that you can start, I think that's great what you guys are doing. Also, super interesting, Boyko, for what you're doing too. So, are you like on the track for CFA? Like, what is your kind of like goal to?
Yeah, so I'm currently taking the Canadian Securities course, and then I'm going to look
Okay.
into doing some sort of analyst designation after that, and then I'll definitely go for the CFA once I'm done
So
university.
you're Canadian.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Very cool. Well, that's perfect. That works out for us. So for you, so you're taking kind of like the analysis, or well, not that you're calling it analysis, but the analysis that you're doing is basically like quantitative analysis. Can you explain a little bit more about what your platform does? I think that's really neat.
Yeah, so our platform provides just literally a space for us to upload our research in report form, and then we can also upload our models so that people can go in and tweak that if they don't agree with our analysis on those models. That way they can change growth rates and all these types of things.
Cool.
And then as for like our analysis, people kind of just take the different form of what they do. So personally, like, there's I guess one side of it doing intermarket analysis or spread analysis, and then the other side taking a more like business focused approach in like the equities market, where people are doing discounted cash flows, leverage buyouts, analyzing the financial statements. And yeah, so each person kind of takes a different approach, and it honestly provides a great balance when we're like reviewing each other's stuff before we publish it. But yeah.
Cool. That's neat. Awesome. And Allie, so your clientele being kind of like the earliest you can get them, what have you found is kind of like the biggest challenge that you've had with what's a common theme?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I mean, by far the biggest thing is intimidation with like getting started and who to ask questions. A lot of people like I'm starting to change my marketing to say like I make money less scary, because that's what I do aim to do. And I've realized through working with clients, like that is why they come to me. Because they'll have questions or they'll feel shame, like with, I mean, it's all over the news. I'm sure you are aware that like 30-year-old Americans have student loans. And sometimes people come to me with credit card debt. So there's a shame component sometimes that people are like shameful of the situation they're in, a little bit embarrassed, and that adds to their fear of seeking out help and, wanting to work with someone. But also I think that they hear a lot of like investing terms. Like, do you want to be called Braden or Boyko?
Whatever.
Okay. But like what you were, no, it's okay. I just wrote down Braden, but I noticed, yeah. But like Braden, what you were describing, I think a lot of people are super into that and want to learn more about it. And then other people like shut down. Like it's too intimidating, it's too much, too advanced, right? Which we're not all going to have the same target audience, of course. But yeah, so the people who come to me definitely are intimidated by that. Like maybe they want to learn more, but they get scared, I guess.
I think that's the hard part, is because when you try and learn anything new, everything has its own like jargon. its own words that no one knows except the people who are in that industry.
Mhm,
So it's
mhm.
like I could spout off 401k, 302b, blah, blah, blah. And it's like I'm speaking gibberish. But
Yeah.
it's that disconnect that, okay, I need to approach it as you're a second grader and I'm a second grader. And then we can learn together and grow your situation to an optimal goal setting performance.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah. And that's what I try to explain things super, super simple, for that exact reason. And keep it simple. When I'm working with people to like set up like a money system or whatever you want to call it, like when their direct deposit comes in from their paycheck, what do we do from there? Because that's the level I'm at with my clients. I try to automate everything as much as possible and make, use like free budgeting apps to track stuff instead of a tedious spreadsheet, because that's another layer that will stop people because it's too tedious, too much if they're not in a spreadsheet, So I'm all about just making it as simple as possible, to try to build up their confidence too, that like they can do it. Let's get through one simple task at a time.
Right. And that is where I think it's hard, but I am for people investing over not investing. But I think the main key is you want to develop a why you do it. So if you just trust me to do my job of like, hey, I'll put you in this fund or this play or this, and you're evaluating just me, not overall what things do, that's hard because you're just putting money into a person. You're not knowing anything behind it, which has its ups and downs, its alphas and deltas, but it's that I think my approach is more of trying to get people to learn the information than just, hey, automatically invest and trust that this system works and just blindly do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree. And I've, in my like coming up on 2 years experience as a money coach, I used to do, when I first started, kind of like an information overload by accident to people, is I was just trying to tell them like everything I knew, right? And I've since really, pulled back, and it's more of just like what they need to know kind of for this next step, because I was accidentally overwhelming people, and then I could kind of see it like them shut down. So I really work on this like slower approach now. Whereas like Kayla, you probably offer more of a like done for you service. Is that right?
Sometimes people want to drive the boat, or that's kind of how I describe it. Like some people want to drive the investment side of things and they need me for like more of like the planning side of things, because there's so many components to financial planning. So it depends, I guess the answer is, but yeah, I would say like they all start in the same place though, honestly, whether they have $10,000 or $10 million, they're all kind of like the same in the sense that they want the information that's kind of like relevant to them and nothing that's irrelevant to them, and a little bit more of like a customized approach. And they want to know that you understand and care and are willing to give them the information in the way that they want to receive it too. I guess that's another, like people don't really talk about kind of like the psychology of it. Like, you don't want to tell someone that what they were doing before was bad, like it doesn't make them receive the information really well. But you also want to set them on the right course. So there's like a whole psychology to investing that people, and then you have to control their behavior somehow too. Like I definitely don't envy your work, Allie. I respect it, but man, would it be hard, I think, to try and manage people's behavior. Like I try and manage behavior through like tumultuous times in the market. I can't imagine managing their behavior to even just get them on kind of like the right savings track. Like, good for you. That's amazing.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. It is like daily behavior because it's the
Yeah.
daily stuff that
Retraining.
got some of them into credit card debt, for example.
Yeah, retraining. And then generationally, like wealth is like a different thing for each generation. Like the baby boomers that I deal with, like they won't even want to tell their kids like anything about money. They're like, "Oh, my kids will never know how much money I have. They'll never know. They can figure it out later." Like that's their mentality. And then you get like, you know, Gen X that's like, "Oh no, we should give them the basics, but not too much." And then millennials are like, "No, we should give everything." And then Gen Z, you're on a whole different track than I am. So
I know, and I was laughing when you were talking about the baby boomers because I'm working with their kids who know nothing because their parents didn't teach them anything.
It's so true. I know, it's wild. I know. It's fun though to see their brains shift. Like when you do, like it's something that I like that. Because I've seen so many, I want to say hundreds of client scenarios, and I watch their brains go, "Oh, maybe we should talk to our kids. Like maybe we should." I was like, you could have had that revelation 20 years ago, and that would have been ideal. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So it's kind of funny to watch. It's definitely estate planning that makes them think I should probably tell them, because estate planning, like who's going to take care of your stuff? Well, now your kids are going to be your executors and your trustees and the people who are going to be dealing with your money, but they don't know where all of the money is. That's literally half their job as an executor. So I think it's funny.
Yeah. Do you ever have them or encourage them to like invite their adult children to like a meeting with you?
Yeah, we've had lots of family meetings. Some go better than others. You do have to like almost have a pre-meeting before the meeting with like the both parties, because you don't want to like also waste your time, right? So it's kind of hard because you don't want to waste your time with like them having discussions over each other. So how we deal with it is we like make sure, and I've taken a course for this, but we make sure that we understand the person who is doing the estate planning, what their wishes are, and like really dive through all of that so that it's really clear, so that when you are telling, you know, the next generation, this is what's happening, it becomes a bit of an easier conversation because they're crystal clear in what they want.
Yeah.
And then more make it like a signing, kind of like everyone's getting on the same page meeting versus like, let's have a discussion. It's almost like an informative meeting versus like, there's decisions that haven't been made. No, decisions have already been made. Everything is the way that they want. This is what's happening. Do you have any questions? And I've done that like over Christmas dinner before, over the phone, because everyone's there at the same time.
It's like the only time they're all together.
Yeah. They're like, everyone's coming in from Ontario, all over the place. Like, can you be on the phone? I'm like, yeah, no problem. Because it's like, if they don't ask me, then they're just going to speculate. So it's like, takes me, 45 minutes to an hour, takes them like 6 hours to try and figure it all out. So yeah.
No, I think that is the hard side of finance that not too many people talk about. It's the older age, and you build all this money and wealth for normally certain reasons. So whether it be old age, if you want a certain health care or certain lifestyle, and if ideal circumstances don't happen and you pass away, it's how do these funds get allocated to your family? Or if you stay alive and you're not right mentally, it's okay, do your kids look at your net worth and just like, hey, now I can party on a yacht, It's a weird approach on having like, okay, these are the goals of my client, so to speak, but at the same time merging the values of their family.
It's hard. Yeah, it's difficult, but it's also so fun.
Yeah.
So I love it. It's a great time.
Kayla, that's awesome that you think that's so fun, and I'm so glad we both exist in different areas, because you said you don't envy me, and I was listening to Jonathan. You kind of like explained that scenario with the estate
You're
plan.
like, that sounds terrifying.
Yeah. But I'm so glad to have people to like, refer out like, oh no, I don't do that. I don't even touch that.
You're like, no, thank you. I'm good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it.
I do know on your end, Boyko, you probably have a difference of how you approach businesses and spreadsheets. So like if someone comes to you with, hey, I like this company or this firm, they may have an approach of, I'm looking at this because Kathy Wood looked at it, versus, hey, their PE is not great, or their technical analysis, whatever. Is the business healthy, or is this a temporary investment?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I've always preached strong investments for sure, like good companies if you're looking at the equity space. I've always despised technical analysis. I know that's weird for a Gen Z, because I'd say most Gen Zs, that's right where they go. They don't even know anything about money. They probably should learn about budgeting, but they go straight to day trading and technical analysis. And I mean, it's sad to see for sure. But I honestly, I've always kind of said this to people when they're they want to get into investing. I'm like, you should definitely take like Allie's approach. Like, you need to go very basic, go like learn about budgeting, learn about this stuff before you get into investing, because you're so young. Like you should start young, but you should know what you're doing before you start. And again, like you should just have basic knowledge. And so the whole following Kathy Wood, technical analysis, whatever, it's all just media hype. And there's a reason that people are starting to turn on legacy media and whatnot, because it's just, they do everything for clickbait. It's no different than certain YouTube channels where every single headline or their title is just clickbait. So I think you do got to be careful, just following blindly, these certain funds or, what the media says, because I mean, I just don't know how somebody like Jim Cramer could be so consistently bad and still have a show. But yet millions of people watch it every single day. So, it's just.
I think that's great points, Braden. And I feel like people still like Jim Cramer and stuff like that because they are looking for this get rich quick, this cheat code.
It's 8:40.
I feel like. And I mean, to me, I don't really think that exists. I think maybe people get lucky. You probably might argue it's strategy. I'm not sure, but it's that's what people are seeking. They're looking for the cheat code to wealth, I feel like.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think people want the easy way out, for sure. Like you said, cheat code. And at the end of the day, nothing that's good is easy. I think that's just a good thing for anything in life, but especially for investing. If it seems too good to be true, it's most definitely too good to be true, and the market will eat you up faster than you can even change what you've done. So yeah.
No, I think that's the main. So what I try and do with all these lives, the main thing is introduce different ways to approach money and opportunity cost of reasons that have worked for people and haven't worked. So for example, I started out with CDs because I was just in the bank, you got a return, and it was good, but I had no information of, well, the CD didn't outperformed the overall market or inflation. So I was actually losing money by saving. So it's just that approach to investing, but doing it the right way at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I've seen some things, and not a lot of people have ever had a successful get rich quick scheme so far that I've seen. If anyone has, and send them my way, I'll do a little analysis and I'll let you know. But like, I haven't seen one pan out yet, unfortunately.
I think the
Um,
only ones that exist are they're not really investing in the way we're talking about it. It's people
yeah,
who made their own business and then the business exploded. Though that's like
for
the only
sure.
people who it happens overnight, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, or like I find that like people also, another trigger word is like real estate. Like people are
Mhm.
like real estate, real estate, but it's like slow real estate. I feel like real estate's a trigger word, but it's not fast real estate. It's like waiting for kind of like an opportunity and then slowly building that like longer term real estate. Like there is most of my wealthiest people, they have had multiple places in real estate all over the country. But
Mhm.
that being said, they did it over a period of like 45 years. It's not like a, build your portfolio of 10 immediately. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? So I feel
Yeah.
like people get stuck on like, oh, I need real estate like right now or else I'm never going to be wealthy.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
so slow,
Yeah.
that market. But yeah, anyway, I do have to run, so I will have to let you guys go. But you guys can continue on if you'd like. But it was really nice to meet both of you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Nice to
Jonathan,
meet
thanks
you.
for organizing.
Yeah,
I wish I
definitely.
could have hopped on earlier, but I just couldn't quite figure it out. I did my own live by myself for like 10 minutes. So thanks, guys.